Why does all of this breathing stuff matter? First thing to consider is our diaphragm and our pelvic floor function most optimally in a stacked body position. This is going to help provide stability and strength through our trunk and our core to help support us in doing all the things we want to do. So thinking about an inhalation, diaphragm, pelvic floor, inhale, diaphragm descends, pelvic floor responds by eccentrically lengthening. Exhale from the bottom up, think pelvic floor on up. Pelvic floor lifts, diaphragm follows suit. This is a pistoning effect as described by Julie Wiebe as we inhale and exhale. This relationship is disrupted during pregnancy as the baby and belly expand. The important thing about this breath is we need the ribcage to move to help facilitate this breath. So we want that front to back expansion, the side to side expansion, and this can be very difficult postpartum. Things may feel really tight and compressed, especially when we're holding and feeding baby, and we've also had a growing belly and lengthened abdominal wall. So breathing is the first step to really finding the connection that we have lost in some ways to this relationship. A lot of moms may describe their core feeling almost disconnected. So we can start with the breathing and reestablishing the relationship between the diaphragm and the pelvic floor, which is essentially going to help us regain some of that stability that we're searching for and ultimately that core strength. So we can begin on our back in just a supine breathing exercise to really even just facilitate that relationship between the pelvic floor and the diaphragm and kind of rewire the brain to get that movement and feeling and sensation back. So starting on our backs, you can grab a block. That can certainly be helpful to help facilitate that connection from the pelvic floor. So rolling from your side to your back, placing your hands on your rib cage for a little bit of feedback. When we're talking about lateral expansion or even front or back expansion, there's lots of different positions we can take, but I find being on your back is probably the most supportive first off. You can also elevate the pelvis, especially if you're experiencing any pelvic floor symptoms, or elevate the head. Anything that's going to get you feeling a little bit more relaxed and able to really tap into the breath. The breathing is also really helpful for the parasympathetic nervous system, helping to kind of calm us down. I also recommend elevating the head if you feel like you're in this more flared out position. So ultimately, we want to be able to think about almost tucking our pelvis under like a bowl, not squeezing the glutes, but thinking about hip bones drawing towards belly button. So I'm a little tucked under so that it can maintain the flat back position and connection to the floor. Like I said, if this is hard to maintain, you can elevate the head. And then also we want to make sure we can do this without squeezing the glutes. So everything is relaxed. You can place your hands on your rib cage and on inhale, trying to envision breathing into your hands. So feeling the sensation of the lateral expansion and some movement in the chest as you inhale and feel the air travel down into the body. So everything kind of releases and relaxes. And then on the exhalation, lifting from the bottom up, so pelvic floor on up like an elevator, envisioning the hip bones drawing together as you generate tension through the system and exhale all the air out of the body. So we inhale down and then exhale, lift from the bottom up, pelvic floor on up. As you exhale, envisioning fogging up a mirror, you can analyze exhalation, kind of like easing up on the brake or when you're driving. So we don't want to and force it out. It's a nice slow breath and long as we get all the air out of our body. At the end of the exhale, feeling a little bit of tension generated through the abdominals. If you're having a tough time connecting with the pelvic floor or just want that sensation of a little bit more abdominal tension, you can grab a yoga block or a Pilates ball or even a pillow, just something to squeeze between the thighs, getting the inner thighs and adductors on board, which tends to help bring everything together. So we inhale down and exhale. Notice as I exhale, ribs come down, thinking about closing the front door on the rib cage. Inhale and exhale. Hopefully you're starting to feel some of that tension generated in the abdominals as you inhale again and exhale. Ensuring that you are lifting from the bottom up to manage pressure through the system. So in addition to this breathing stuff mattering to help us gain some of that stability and core strength, it's also really important for addressing any pelvic floor symptoms like leaking or hernias or diastasis, because these are leaks in the system, pressure management leaks. So if we're able to address the breath, then we can also address some of these pelvic floor symptoms and start our journey to healing together.